Welcome back to the show. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of The State of Loud. The State of Loud, The State of Loud, The State of Loud, The State of Loud, State of Loud, State of Loud, The State of Loud. All right. It's always weird because I'm like, it's like you're running a race. Mm-hmm. And like before you're just hanging out talking to people. Mm-hmm. And then like, all right, guys, to the start line. You're like, okay. And you're waiting. Like, let's just start and running. I always feel like that's how podcasts are.
There should be. I mean, why should they be so stodgy?
True.
Yeah. I would rather it be, a few, mistakes?
Yeah.
And or human stuff rather than it be this, everybody's kind of pretending or they are too polished. That doesn't come across very well.
Yeah. I like that. I agree with that. And on that note, I think we're going to get started.
Okay.
So, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to A State of Loud. We're here in a new season. As you can see, we're in a new space and a new place and trying some things new this year. But we want to welcome you guys back, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. Our first guest of the season is someone that helped us finish off last season's run. And it's a pleasure to be back here. He's going to have a event coming up October 4th in Newark, displaying his work. He is a multifaceted artist doing works describing and depicting all walks of life, from politics to people to everything in between. I think I don't even need to add anything else. I think we'll get into it more during the podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Ricardo Francis.
Yay. Well, for business purposes, Ricardo Osmondo Francis.
Yes.
I only say that because my dearly departed mentor, Leo, was always like, you're Ricardo Osmondo Francis where you are out there in the streets.
Yes.
So for some strange reason, he showed me on Google at the time, when I laughed when he said I needed to use my middle name. He said, I went on Google today and looked up your name, and there's like 3 criminals in Canada with your name.
All right.
And I said, how odd those criminals would be in Canada and not the United States.
You only got to worry about if you're crossing the border. Do you go by any aliases? Sir, is there anything you have to report?
Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, my God. But it's a beautiful thing. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So rock with it. But, man, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed our time last time. So to be able to come back and start the season with this upcoming show, and then with you, and then to speak on what's going on right now, is, I think, it's a very good thing.
Absolutely, man. And I kind of want to dive directly into it.
Okay.
Because I feel like the work you do, I always think is amazing. Like just your depiction and the visual aspects of everything that you make. How can I say it? Your work looks what I think people's feelings look like if they were physically viewed through their bodies.
That's interesting. I tried to go for that.
Okay.
And what's funny is that I'm not sure how successful I am at doing that.
Okay, all right.
But I really try to go into the aspect of how people are thinking. And oftentimes we're processing, if we see just one thing or hear one story or see one news article, or rather one news story, I should say, or read something out there in online something, our minds are processing a bunch of things all at the same time.
Absolutely.
The negative, the positive, how this has affected me and my family or my group or my friend group or my community. And I feel like right now we're in just a bizarre time where you're constantly having to think about that and yourself and wondering just how you survive without falling apart. So.
Yeah. And that's an interesting comment, like how you survive without falling apart. Because I've taken my own personal decision when it comes to observing the world has changed. I've changed how I do it. I used to be big on news, like watching the news, and then I got into reading the news and then I got into community-based news like Reddit. And huh?
You do Reddit?
I used to do Reddit.
Okay.
Like, funny enough, we talked about this in the car where I liked Reddit because it was a vast community, but I felt like the name fit, like it was the front page of the internet. But what I've learned is, since we've popularized opinion and we put so much value on it, we almost stop living and observing for ourselves.
That's very true.
Because it's like we're trying to avoid whatever the risk of real life. And so like I stopped using Reddit, like unless I really needed just an answer to a question, like if something broke on my car or I needed a part or needed some type of information. But other than that, I didn't go there for people's reviews or their experiences, simply because I was like, if I'm living my life living through other people's observations of something, I'm not gaining my own. And so I did, and I love Reddit. So shout out to everybody on Reddit. Nothing against. I think it's still a great community. I leaned less on it for perception.
Okay.
And I started just doing my own free research into things that are going on, getting at different inputs, only because I realized stories. What they said, there's four different versions of what happened. There's their side, what really happened, and then the stuff we all missed.
Oh, that's the fourth one.
Yeah,
because
like,
I only heard the three versions. It's like what you believe, what they believe, the truth itself.
Yeah, and then what really happened. Like, and that's kind of the thing, is like the facts. Like, and I'm going on another direction with it, but that's where I believed we started using the word truth, not realizing like everyone's truth can be different. Because if your truth is based on your perception and your experience, your truth is going to be different from someone else. But one thing that we necessarily can't argue with are facts. So that's why I try to say, just give me the facts. You can tell me your truth, but I want the factual information, and I'll draw from there. So I kind of just backed away from it all, because I think I have more peace that way. I'm not ignoring it. I know what's going on. Yeah. But let me get my information, the facts, go, that's crazy, and then go back to my life so I can stay focused on building. So with that being said, I mean, what is the title? Can you give us a title and give us a little like description of what the collection is about this year?
So the name of the show is The Golden State. And that title instantly came to me because Trump had said this is going to be the new golden age at his, I guess you call it inauguration.
Okay.
For 2024.
Yes.
Technically 2025, but so regardless of that, I already was in production with this show, already had it planned in terms of the timing and setting. It was supposed to premiere in May of this year, and I just wasn't ready. There was too many other things that was happening, so I was able to work with Utak and Altagracia at Seventh Space here in Newark, and asked, hey, can I do this show in October instead? In fact, I would love to have this show as part of the Newark Arts Festival, and piggyback off of the thousands upon thousands of people that are, always invested and interested in the festival. And they said, sure. And so we went that route. And also, the Golden State just sounds like a cool title. I know, actually, California, I think that's their moniker, the Golden State.
I think so.
Yeah. So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. And I think I don't want to say it creates a timeless piece, but it creates like more of a historical stamp of kind of knowing what that name, because we don't know what the future holds yet. Right. But whatever it is, there's still going to be this timestamp on your work and representation of it. And that's something I really like about it. I don't know. Tell me about like some of the pieces that really stand out to you that you created.
So I'll be honest, I don't like to make political work, believe it or not.
I know we talked about that.
Yeah.
And now that's why when you told me what it was, I was like,
yeah,
okay, the artist getting uncomfortable to grow, or like, is that more of a thing? I don't know, you tell me.
No, so I say that, however, I also feel compelled when stuff is happening. It kind of similar to what was happening with the Black Lives Matter movement, with George Floyd, and the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, rather, I was compelled to make work about that. I could not just not say something or say anything, I should say. So it's the same with what's happening now. I think as an artist, I would be very derelict of my duties if I did not make anything or make any work based off of what we all are very concerned about right now. So I would say in terms of what has stood out for me for this show, I don't like to have a favorite child.
Yes. Okay.
And I know last time I think we chatted about making art. For me, making art, I should say. There really are no favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say there are moments where there are stronger paintings or pieces that I think, or I know that they'll do a bit more in which to engage the public.
Okay.
So I would say one of the very first ones I created was of Representative Jasmine Crockett.
Okay.
Of Texas, which makes the title image of the show. And it's of her with a knife at what appears to be a bust of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
So that painting for me helped me understand what direction to go with the work. There were already two other paintings major paintings that came before that. That was a portrait of Trump at the time he got the first assassination attempt.
Yes.
Then the one of Kamala Harris as well. I mean, the Kamala one is up here on the wall. So those were the first two from the series itself, and that came from that actually came from a request from a studio mate of mine, Patricia Dahlman, for a show called Election. And that show, again, when we were wrapping up last year for your podcast, I had told you about those two pieces, and those two paintings began this cycle of new art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're putting together a collection like this, and like you said, as an artist, you kind of have your duties to speak out through your work. When do you know, like, when does an incident, a person, place, or thing really pop out to you to be like, okay, I need to create something around this?
Sometimes it's instantaneous. Oftentimes for me, as with, say, a poet, well, I can't speak for poets because I think sometimes they can work faster, or even photographers can work faster than a painter can. For me, we'll just talk about what happened recently with Charlie Kirk or whatnot.
Yeah.
I already had a drawing in my head of what to do for what happened, and what was planning on including it in the show. And then something in my conscience said, "Don't. It's too soon. You need to sit with the idea and let things cool down in the public first before you attempt to comment on it."
Yeah.
And so I've learned that it's best to pace myself with things. And oddly enough, with making this work, I've been working faster at generating things, which is kind of new for me.
Yeah.
Because typically, I would say a painting can take months to finish.
Okay.
Whereas here, similar to all the other ones, I was working on several all at the same time. The first few sittings with each one is like instantaneous. I'm getting all the imagery out.
Yeah.
The figures that are in it, or the elements that are in it, and then the collaging is all happening around the same time. And then I'll stop and let it gestate while I'm working on other stuff.
Yeah.
And so I've been working like a Keebler elf,
Okay.
or a madman.
Yeah.
Just kind of very quickly working on stuff. However, at the same time, similar to any series I work on, I like to take a step back and not tell people how to think or how to view the work, because I don't want the work to be preachy. I think for me to make that type of work about societal stuff it's just not my approach.
Yeah, because I realized, like, looking at your pieces, you encapsulate the public figures and the incidences, and like I said, the way in which you create them is as if the emotions of what was going on can be seen through the way they're depicted. And yeah, it's a subtle nuance to each painting to kind of go, like, you almost go like, oh, I can understand what was going on there or where this was taking place. And I find it very, with your choice to put the Charlie Kirk piece on hold, in a sense, I understand. Because, like, if putting something out now, it could immediately be polarized.
Immediate, yeah.
And being where everyone is, and it's very, like, divisive. But letting things calm down to a point where people can kind of process what was going on.
Yeah.
People have to have their time, and putting it back out allows people to view the work and view the event from a more emotionally stable position, if I want to use those words, which I think is important, because I'll be honest with you, until now, I didn't depict artists as being such powerful storytellers, or even what's the word I'm looking for, being a source of sparking thought about something that people may not have had before. Usually, like you say, like, poets write something and you get it, or a song is written, or a documentary or something. It's a little bit more of a direct message, whereas art can be interpreted in many ways.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you, what's the word I'm looking for, is like, it allows you to connect to the masses at a point and put them into a self-reflective point of view. Is that something that's kind of like your approach when doing something like political pieces, to kind of more so allow people to reflect on their own beliefs and where it stands than a message you may be trying to put forth?
What I really have to say doesn't really matter politically, and that may sound like a cynical artist answer, but I promise you it's not. What I mean by that is what I'm doing is reflecting what my initial thoughts are, and then what I also am hearing and seeing and feeling from the public as well. And the things that's in the media and the things that is being fed to people all the time. So it's taking it from various sources and then putting it in one I would call like to call these mental chalkboards.
Yeah.
I think of my work as mental chalkboards or their sketchbook pages. So that's always been my approach, no matter what the subject is, and so it's no different here.
Yeah.
And I think what's always beautiful is what people think.
Yeah.
Even if those thoughts aren't necessarily what I think, I'm always intrigued with what people see in the work, other than what I see. I oftentimes don't try to have any direct thoughts about what I make, because I think if I have a perception of what I make, I am going to block what it wants to say. So I try to take myself as much out of its point of view.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's extremely powerful, because as an artist, like you said, to be taking in this information, being a complete observer of society, that can be a heavy task, because especially the world we live in now, there's so many emotions inside of the political process in the world we live in.
Yeah.
To observe it as a non-judgmental party, just translating it into art, it's like another dimension of creativity that I've never heard someone express it, right? Like when they say, where does the inspiration come from? Well, I don't make that decision. The work makes this decision. I'm just here to do the work and be in the process and be grateful I have that inspiration. But to even do that from a level of observing society and putting those actions and emotions into a piece, I feel like it's another level of like experiencing what is going on, because in a sense you're feeling it all of it, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's feelings that are happening. It's like there are moments. Trust me, I had quite a few tears during COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement. I was very scared. People were dying, and both violently and also medically, because we were dealing with a condition that no one quite understood at the time what was happening, and scientists and the medical community had to figure out something as quickly as possible. And then you had, Trump at the time trying to act as if this was just the flu and it'd be gone, this, that, and the other. And we saw what happened with that.
Yeah.
And then we are back to where we're at now, where we're trying to not see the truth and deal with also this country's continual issue with race, and how it was founded, which was on corruption and also white male privilege. And, I think for all of us, this is a history lesson that we all get to revisit again.
Yeah.
And for me to do this work helps me to look at it. Some of the stuff that was taught to me in school, some of the conversations I had with people on both sides of, I guess, the opposing thought on subject of race and how America was made and developed and this, that, and the other. Now, as an almost 50-year-old man, I can view all of this with a different set of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not as ready to be reactionary about it. I think I have a more I'd say when someone becomes wiser, their mind, they're able to process some complicated things with a lot more alacrity.
Yes.
And they're not responding to it with emotion. And so I feel like that's where I'm at with being able to do this work without going crazy.
Yeah, and that's that's what I was thinking, to be honest with you, because like doing media and talking to a lot of people and doing podcasts, I'm fortunate enough to hear people from all walks of life and their perceptions. And the one thing that always stands out for me is that their beliefs are developed primarily from their experiences through life, right? So, but the difficult part is getting people to view other people's experiences of life as being valid without, what's the word I don't want to say demonizing it, but more or less undermining it, as if it's a bad thing, or you're just being a victim to this, or like showing value and validating, like, hey, just because I didn't live that, you did as well. And so I think you're right. As you get older, being an observer, you do tend to look at things and go, huh, okay, like that happened.
Yeah.
Let's see where that goes before anything happens. And I think as an artist and an observer of society, it puts you in a unique place, because almost like you have to be there to be able to create.
Yeah.
Like it's what's the word I want to look for? It's almost an environment where, not even environment, I don't even want to go down that road, where really what I want to say is, like, in saying that statement, it makes me think that a way to find peace amongst all the chaos in the world has to come from getting into a space of creation from a non-judgmental place.
Yeah.
Right? Because
it helps.
It allows you to just observe and I'm going to do this I may not understand now. Maybe I'll understand later. regardless, this is what it looks like and what I'm seeing and observing. And it kind of goes back to the part of why art is so important during these times of history and society, because art, in a sense, gives people that time to slow down, to observe something in history from an outside perspective that they may not have gotten watching the news, talking with friends, having gossip, going online. We all know Facebook is the opinions of the world. God bless them.
I mean, don't even get me started on Zuckerberg.
No, we'll leave him out. But just having the platforms where now people's opinions we put so much value on.
Yeah.
I think it can be a dangerous mix, because we have a platform that praises you for people agreeing with you and getting attention. And so if you want the praise, you may fight to say the more extreme thing, or you may fight to say the more outlandish thing, or, just to spark emotion. These things don't allow people to slow down. They don't allow them to process.
Yeah.
And to me, do you think that level of thinking is capable outside of creating art?
In what context exactly?
Being able to slow down and just observe society, like as an artist, or do you feel like creation is key to being able to view life that way? Or does it make it easier even as a vehicle?
I think it depends on what the messaging is of the artist.
Okay.
And so that's a kind of a difficult question for me to fully answer. I can answer it in my own,
please, yeah,
for myself,
yeah,
but I can't answer for every artist, because I think they all have their specific ways in which they go about it. I think the best way I can really answer that question is that I had to learn to do what I do in a way in which one had to find my voice and be comfortable in what that voice is. That was one. And that took some time to get there alone, just with that.
Yeah.
Just natural as a person, I've always been a person who is pretty not very reactionary.
Okay.
Because I don't believe, I feel like I would give too much of my energy being that way, of just being emotionally charged every time I either disagreed with someone or what is it? I'm so excited and then I'm drained at the end of the day because of that or whatnot.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That's never been me.
Yeah.
I've been very measured, and I just am naturally just not that guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know we have conversations around that and finding peace. And at the same time being honest with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
But not needing to express it in all of its glory at the moment. Like you can be like, hey, how you doing today? Hey, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It was a rough day. Not feeling too well. But you're not going to sit here and act out all those emotions immediately. It's almost as if you're allowing the emotions to breathe and exist without them having to put on a play for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, some people can operate that way. I find that I can't, and who I am as a person is irrelevant.
That's you say it, and I almost like when you say it, it's such a powerful statement. It's almost like a giant rock slamming on the ground of the room when you say it.
It seems very not standard for an artist to say that.
Yeah,
and also an artist in America to say that.
Yeah, because I think I've only probably had maybe one or two other artists where they asked them, well, what is this song about? And the artist goes, what do you mean? And they go, well, what do you feel is like the overall message of the song? And he said, doesn't matter what I think. He goes, what matters is what people get out of the music I create. He said, because this song is telling a story, but to everyone that listens, it's going to be a different story.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be able to put themselves into the seat and live it. And I feel like that is where your artwork kind of stands, right? Because I know I say like you paint the way I think emotions look on people if we could see them. But in reality,
I like that statement. Thank you.
No, absolutely. It's absolutely how I feel. But in reality, I'm thinking to myself, more than likely, me saying that is a reflection of how I'm feeling of something. Which in turn, I'm like, that, for lack of a better term, like that's some even deeper shit, to get into as an artist. So the levels and complexity of observation of the work, like for those that truly look at the pieces, to me, I think that's what at least grabs me in. And for it to be something in the political realm of these people and these faces in which we've kind of been told what to think and feel about them on one way or the other, kind of pulling us out of that and putting a one-on-one experience is like, it's lack of words, just it's like a crazy deep experience. Just because even sitting here, I'm glad we did the show in your studio, just because looking at the pieces, like for me at least, I can get lost in looking at a piece where I'm looking at the actual people. As I'm doing that, some small piece of the collage around them always pulls me in. And I can sit here for hours and just connect the dots myself and see something new. And it's I think given in a society where we're consistently being fed content over and information over and over, like your work almost is like a more emotionally aware version of that, so to speak. Like, because you're going to navigate it yourself. Whatever attracts your eye in that piece in what order is kind of going to tell you a little about yourself and the way you think and what stands out to you. Like, I don't know if that's even the purpose behind it. If it is, like, you're definitely doing a good job. But I feel like it's something to be experienced. And I don't say that about a lot of art, because, like, there's some art where I'm like, this is nice. This looks nice. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to get out of this or what you're saying to me right now. And then there's other pieces I can look at and I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. I 100% understand and get it, and it clicks. How, like, I guess, and I've probably asked you this before, how did you get to this style and interpretation of life through your work? Like, was this a style in which it started through classical means of art and perfecting your craft and then molded into multiple pieces coming together? Or was this something that you kind of just, like, when you started, it just came naturally to you?
So I was always obsessed with portraiture. So that was one. And there was first my 7th grade and 8th grade art teacher, John Gaines, who introduced me to painting. So kudos to him for introducing me to do this, because I was going to be a comic book artist. I think I had said that last time. And then I continued, tried various things technically. In college, I tried a little bit of a lot of various things. All mainly about the figure and dealing with societal stuff about racial identity and this, that, and the other. I was always thinking about that. It wasn't until I would say I met my mentor, Leonidas Rosa Molinar, in 2006, and was connected to him for 15 years until he passed in 2021. And he rewired my brain in how to make art and how to separate myself from what I was doing. And the reason why he was important was because he said I learned a lot of bad habits in art school, and you have to relearn how to draw and relearn how to paint. He made me go into working with oil again, which I disliked because I was like, I went through this period already. Yeah. Why do I have to do this again? Blah, blah, blah. I have a style, I have a technique, and I had developed the whole thing of working with acrylic and collage even before him. But going back into working with oil was life-changing because I got to understand color a lot better. And when about 5 or 6 years later, after going through that period, and also just learning how to draw all over again on my own terms.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, looking online, looking through books.
Wow.
And doing, life drawing. Like I'd be on the subway drawing people on the train and this and the other.
Okay.
Whatnot. And I just just redirected my thinking and my connection to the work. And my technique, I felt, got richer. It got more sure of itself in my hands, and in my connection to, in my thinking, my process of going about it. Once I went back to acrylic and collage, what I learned with working in oil was able to translate very well with acrylic. And then I was now in this phase, and have been in this phase since like 2012 or so. And it just kept deepening and getting more dense or richer, or what I would do in one series would then develop into another series, and then to another series, and then into another series. And then I noticed just technically what was happening with the painting and what was happening with the collaging was just melding into each other.
Yes.
So much so that people were like, which part is collaged and which part is painted? Which for me is kind of funny, because it's like you don't see which part is which. But I think that goes to show what Leo was trying to get me to see at the very beginning, when he told me that you need to redo or relearn everything.
Wow. Yeah. That is so powerful. And that resonates heavy with me. That statement of just the understanding that you went through a process. And you thought, I learned a lot. I'm good. We can develop. I can keep moving forward in one direction. And he's like, no, you need to relearn this. Almost in a sense of like, okay, you went through all that stuff. You're good. Now you're free. Now go relearn it and take away what you really need from it. Change your perception, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of getting my interpretation of it. It changed your perception of all of it again, and you almost feel like you were able to take away so much more than the first time. Yeah, and then add it to what you were already building, to more or less now everything was coming together.
Well, the last major lesson from him was completely submitting to the work. Ooh. So it took me, I would say, a few years after he passed for me to fully grasp what that means. Yeah. And now, I get it. I get what that means, because every day I am working on this. There are things that happens in the work that's a surprise, and I'm like, I think if I was trying to be in control of what was happening here, I would not see this. Or I would not learn this lesson through working on this piece at this particular point in time. Jeez. So each of my children taught me they all taught me something about how to paint, how to draw, how to see. And so I'm always in awe of that, and I try to stay out of its way to allow that to happen.
Wow. Yeah. That is, it's a powerful experience. Just hearing the words and hearing your story of the process going on and how it still speaks to you today and develops into the artist you are and who you may be later. And like submitting to that journey, that saying resonates with me, because I think so many of us have not reached the potential we could have simply because unknowing to us, we are like trying to control where it goes. And I know for my life, there's times where I pick up different pieces. Like, my career slate. I'm literally done a million different things. I'm doing more now. To me, it makes sense because I'm letting go and I'm going with the flow, because these are things presented for me. I should do these. And to hear you say, like, you get to the point where people can't tell the difference between whereas a painting collage, in my mind is like, you got to that point where you were gathering all your pieces and they've come together to the point now where now everyone can kind of see the picture the way you've wanted it to, which in the term kind of gives me I don't want to say it gives me hope because I'm already hopeful, but it gives me kind of a shiny example of like, yeah, you may think what was good then is good, but now that you're grabbing your pieces, people won't see it until it all starts coming together. Mm-hmm. Like you see it now, but they won't until it's more finished, more refined, and you continuously keep doing more and building through the process. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think as much as it's your experience through your art and your craft, it almost speaks volume to life, right? Because how many of us think we know what we're doing? We're going down a path. This is what I'm going to do. Don't try to deter me. Right. Life throws them something. And how many people just go, no, I'm not going to do that. And that growth and progression almost stops.
Yeah.
Because either one, they're not willing to go back and relearn with the new information that they have, or they're so dead set on it being how they want that they're like, no, that's not even going to matter to me.
Well, I think it could be said of any profession. Yeah. There are going to be moments where there's a challenge, there are a series of challenges that rocks you at your core, and you have to, that they're happening because you have to learn lessons and get to whatever is next for you. And one of the things I learned was how to stop seeing my art career in a particular way. The same way I was looking at my art in a particular way. And that is, you have to wait your turn and you have to do the work. As long as you're doing the work, that's all that matters. The rest will all fall into place when it's supposed to, how it's supposed to, with the people that are supposed to be there. So I'm understanding that all the time, a lot more now than ever before. So a lot of the worries I had even probably a few years ago are not there anymore, because I'm like, it's also part of the submitting to the work.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
Because like, I think you're right. Like as an artist, I mean, I make film. Like I make film. That's what I do at this point in my life. And I think you're right, because I can say, like, when things were good, well, when I say good, like I was probably making the most money I've made from film, I was still just making what other people needed, and I wasn't growing as an artist. And in a way, it made me dependent on clients, but I was not expressing myself. And my biggest concern was that if I only focused on what I wanted to build, it may not take me where I want to go. But and now we're at a point where I'm like, I think the beginning of this year, I talked to my buddy Tyson, and I was like, yo, this year we should just focus on our projects. And ironically, and also kind of not good, but good, a lot of like my paying clients, the gigs just fell through, opening me up to having time to be like, well, I'm not going to sit and do nothing. Like, I'm going to keep building. And it kind of got me to a point where we got better. Things started getting recognized differently. And I think as an artist, that's probably a fear a lot of people have. If I just let go and create, where is it going to take me? Like, is that, you say like the concerns you have are no longer with you. Are you more so enjoying the ride? Are you enjoying the ride more now than earlier in your career? Yes.
Because there's no vision of what the future will look like.
So you're free from expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I that's where people get themselves in trouble, and then they eventually get upset, and then they typically give up. So I will never be able to separate myself from doing this. This makes me extremely happy and peaceful to make this work. Even doing this work, which again, a lot of it thematically is like, I don't like to paint evil.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm painting evil here. And yet I can approach this piece with the same alacrity and tenderness to form as I do, like, say, with the Obamas here and in the other beautiful brothers and sisters here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is it? Expectation is overrated. It truly is. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just I always appreciate these conversations, just because, and I have to say it now because that thought of expectation ruining your experience, I think it carries so true over everything. Like when we judge things, people, places, things, and events from the outside perspective, we have an expectation of what it should be, right? It's why, like, when people in relationships and like if something doesn't go right, your friends are like, "Oh, you should leave," and you're like, "Why?" And you're like, "Oh, that didn't go right," and you're like, "Well, you're still where you were, and you didn't leave. Why didn't you leave?" "Oh, things happen." Well, why I think things do happen. Why are we having such expectations? I'm not saying I don't have boundaries, but I think expectations do lead us down a path where we do let go too early. Because we're saying it, well, why is it this difficult? And why is it taking this long?
Yeah.
And why is this not happening for me but someone else? And we lose sight.
People should never compare.
Yeah, like we lose sight of the joy of the experience. Like you said, you would do this no matter what.
Right.
This is what makes you happy. This is what fulfills
so.
you. Yeah, and so it to that point, like I think what makes you very different from a lot of other artists is you've accepted the fact that this is who you've been called to be, and you don't fight it. You're like, this is it.
It's my ministry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan Vincent. And she says that a lot in what she does.
Yeah.
And I instantly understood what that meant, because for me, this is, my calling. I always knew it to be, but I understand it more. That I understood that more as I got older. That I'm like, I am tied to this till the day I'm no longer on this planet.
Ooh.
So all I'm doing is just continuing what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
And the rest is basically consequential. You just go with the flow. You live life. You have the conversations you need with people, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
And you deal with all the in between.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. I mean, wow. I don't even know if I want to ask you any more questions after that. Like, I'm just, I don't even know if I want to ask you any more questions. Like, I almost want to be like, nah, that was it. We got to end it here, folks. That was dope. Wow, man. Wow. I mean, to all the words you're saying, it's even more reason why people should come out and see this work.
Yes.
Like, just having this conversation, understand how you create. Not only am I excited to see the work on October 4th, ladies and gentlemen.
Saturday, October 4th.
Saturday, October 4th.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
7 p.m. However, though, I will say their openings at 7 Space, they say 7 p.m. end, but the party will still go on for probably another couple of more hours. But
I think the part is I'm excited to see the work. I'm almost excited to see people's perception of the work.
Yeah. And
at the same time, I'm excited to see what you create in the future. Understanding the process, like
I am too.
The crazy part is like the world is in a very interesting place, and it can be somewhat scary. And now I'm kind of like, I gotta see what Ricardo's making out of this. Like, this is gonna be nuts because
you and a lot of other people are like, I definitely need to see what you're making.
Oh my God, yeah. You're like the Oracle. It's like, did you see that happen?
Don't say that.
Did y'all see what happened? I gotta go. I'll be right back. I gotta check his Instagram or something. I got him a phone call. I gotta text him, like, because it's, and I don't mean to say life we shouldn't appreciate, but it's what makes life fun. Because coming in a non-judgmental way and just kind of being an observer of life, you can take so much away from it than deciding, like, I got to stand on this side and be this way, and this is my enemy, and this is how I behave. Like, when you're an observer, I'm not saying you don't care what happens in life, but you've already made your decision. Okay, I don't care what happens out here. This is what I'm doing.
Well, I do care about what's happening.
I mean, you
outside.
You care.
I care, but I first I got to say this: this right and left BS is silly and nonsensical, because most of us really are a mix of both, just by nature.
Yeah.
And if we sat down and just really had some real conversations with each other about stuff, we'll see how similar we are in our thinking and whatnot. And let's also be clear, both sides have been friends with each other for quite some time.
Very true.
And so all of a sudden, because this one person has decided to say all these disparaging things simply because he's old and just losing it day in and day out now at this stage of the game and seemingly trying to relive the past.
Yeah.
Is bonkers to me. And that more of the people under him and that are in his ear are the ones that are really running what's happening and not even him. And that's what I am seeing, and that's where I'm just, I have to, for myself, take a step back and look at what's happening and be as logical as possible about it.
Yeah.
Because it's very scary and it's very sad.
Yeah.
And there are moments where, I'm looking at something online in terms of news. I try to limit my news about 30 to 45 minutes a day so that I'm not, in tears. But, we all needed to learn that voting is very real. And that we need to be more conscious of what's happening.
Yeah.
And we need to have some honest conversations with each other, even with people you don't agree with.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way to state it. We often fear what we don't know. And in a world where we're consistently being given information, as much as we think we know, we probably don't.
True.
So I think a lot of conversations do need to be had. I think you're right. We do have a lot more in common than we think we do. I, for myself, can tell you the different walks of life I've spoken to. We almost forget that each person is a human being. And that deep down, the values and virtues and desires of life are usually very similar. It's very rare that we deviate from that, but how we go about doing it and getting it is probably one of the only things that may have a different opinion.
Can I add to,
Please.
People got to stop saying you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You'll never win a debate by speaking to others in that way. You have to just ask questions of why they feel or think the way that they feel and think. Yeah,
it'll usually uncover the source of where they're coming from.
And then if there's a learning, an aspect of doing that with that person, they will be able, their conscious, their mind will be able to take advice from you a lot more easily.
Yeah, they'll feel heard, understood.
Yeah,
and there's a bond there of trust.
Yes,
that's willing to be open to what you're saying than just
yelling,
coming from a defensive place.
Yes, because all we're doing is
you're to blame. Yeah,
I could never speak to anyone when that's happening. I would literally just stop talking and walk away.
Yeah,
only because it's easier to hear when there's a lot less shouting.
Very true.
So, yeah.
No, very true. I definitely agree. On that note, I definitely want to call it a show. I think this was probably so much of what I got out of this show. Did not know what I was. Let me say that. So much of what I got out of the show, I am grateful for, not knowing where direction it was originally going to go.
We keep it real here, folks.
Yes, unscripted, unplanned, and that's why I really enjoy having you on the show, because we dive deep into your craft, the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, political aspect, the analytical aspect, the human life of it. And I appreciate you for sharing it, because it's a vulnerable space to be in, and sharing that with us and my viewers. I mean, extremely grateful.
Thank you.
Grateful to have you on as the opening show. I think, given the temperature of the world right now and everything going on in the U.S., I couldn't think of a better guest to have. So if you guys are in the Newark area, October 4th, 4 p.m., what's the location?
7 Warren Street, 7, oh my God, what's the name of the goddamn gallery? 7 Space Art Gallery and Wellness Center in downtown Newark.
Yes, please come out. Come see the work. Come see just the depiction, the awe, the interesting pieces that are going to be before you. See how they make you feel. I'd love for you guys to come out and support. I know I'm going to be there showing my support. You can take a look at this camera. Let the people know where they can check you out on Instagram or websites or purchase any of your work.
The Black Iconic, all lowercase letters on Instagram. That's the one and only place to find me online.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on. Definitely appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be our show for today. Super happy you guys came along. If you followed us this long, you already know I'm going to ask. Hit the like button, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, lock the bell, download it, share with a friend, whatever you want to do to show your support. We definitely appreciate it. And as always, it's nothing but love, people. Let's keep the peace. Keep asking questions. Keep talking together. Let's keep building. Talk to you guys soon. See you next time. Peace.